Hello, friends. Welcome back to Stories for Humans. It's Pam here. And today I want to talk about my disillusionment with YouTube. And it's not, the same as a lot of videos that are coming out now with people considering the 8,000 watch hours and what they're spending their time doing. It's a little bit about that, but it's more about me personally and kind of a set of epiphanies that I had about why I feel a sense of discontent or kind of a friction with YouTube in general. And the first epiphany, I have some little notes that I wrote, is it's not as important for me to be seen or acknowledged as it is to be understood. Does that make sense? I've realized I don't really care so much about being noticed or acknowledged or seen by a lot of people as being understood, even by one. So that was kind of enlightening to think, oh, okay, maybe that's why I'm not really driven, to try super hard. And even though I respect that and I encourage it, and I really am trying to support a lot of content creators. And the other little epiphany I had the other morning as I was getting ready is my particular set of skills, my gifts and strengths might not be a good fit for YouTube. And it doesn't mean I'm totally giving up on it, but it just made me really think, is telling the truth to a few people better than watering it down for thousands? Or in my case, about 300. I think YouTube sort of rewards being real. And we've all talked about that. We've watched videos by YouTube gurus and others talking about how authenticity and realness is the way to go. And it's true. I want to watch those videos. Um, and a creator who sheds tears, who is real, who tells about something hard that happened to them, about their true and real feelings, we resonate with that a lot. And I think it's because we want to see reflected our own human emotions, our own human experience. It's like it gives us permission to be more human, to be our authentic selves. And so we kind of lap up that content for good reason. But I don't think we're quite as into truth telling content. But sometimes I think that's what we actually need. It's like truth about ourselves, about life, about the world is really the antidote to what ails us. Um, but we're not as excited about that. And that's just human nature. And so the dilemma for me is that truth telling is really at the core of who I am. I like to try and articulate, tell the truth through my experience, through story. And yeah, I'm a lot more interested in being understood and people understanding what I'm saying, in seeing, deeper things and seeing a bigger picture than I am in attracting and maintaining an audience, or even then like putting my life online. I really kind of could care less about that. And that's just me. That's just me personally. I like to watch other people's content, other people doing that, but I don't really feel driven myself to do it unless it's pointing to something, unless it's pointing to an issue, a truth, a realization. And so I think that's what I've been slowly over this past however long I've been doing this. I've been kind of gearing up to this realization that I have things I want to say, things I've realized important to me, ideas. And that's kind of what I'm here for. So here is where it's hard for me. One of the places it's hard for me. When I took spiritual gifts tests, I've taken a few different ones over the years, and a prophet, or the gift of being prophetic, not pathetic. That's totally different. I can be that too, but in spiritual terms, the prophet is the truth teller. It's someone who tells uncomfortable truths, who might see further down the line, who can point out things before they happen, before they come to pass, where you kind of know, all right, this road, this destination is going to turn out this way. And it doesn't mean that I can tell the future. It's not like an Old Testament prophetic gift where the Old Testament prophets were really explaining what was going to happen, and then it did happen like that. It's not about that. It's more about seeing truth and being able to point it out or articulate it for other people. And then in conjunction with that, my other spiritual gift is always teaching. And yes, it's kind of obvious. I am a teacher. So they kind of go together, right? Like telling the truth about things in a way that people can hopefully understand and maybe take it in, maybe even make changes for themselves. And it doesn't mean I have all the answers, because obviously I don't. My own life is a little bit of a mess, full of regrets, full of mistakes. Even recently, things that we've done as a couple, changes that we've made in our lives that haven't turned out necessarily in our favor. So if you look up the prophetic gifts, or the spiritual gift of being a prophet, it says discerning and articulating God's truth, values, and heart. Prophets act as truth tellers who care deeply about integrity and do not want to misinterpret what God has said about himself and about the world. So, one example of this kind of watering down that I've been doing of myself so that I can be more palatable on YouTube is getting along, going along to get along. That's it. Doesn't mean I'm lying. It doesn't mean I'm not being sincere. It just means I've kind of been avoiding things and saying, no, it's better to just be tolerant of other people's ideas. But there are some ideas that are just plain wrong, and in some cases, even harmful. And that's where I feel kind of pushed to speak up. And one of those things has been this idea of God being described as God or the universe or whatever that means to you. That's a postmodern idea. It's also an ancient idea, an ancient lie, really, about God and about who he is. And it can deceive a lot of people. So I need to speak up about that, and not just be like, yeah, okay, if that's how you feel. Because it's kind of like, I mean, if you had a mother, you have a mother, we all have a mother, but let's say your mother, she has a name, you know her, she raised you, she has a personality, and someone said, your mother, or that lady over there, or however you want to call, or however you want to think of her, you'd be like, no, no, I have a mother, and this is her name, and this is what she's like. And that's what it is with God too. No, he has a name. He has lots of names. He is a person. He has a personality. You can know him, and not just in a mind meld, airy fairy kind of way, but in a real personal way. And so that's a core belief of mine. That's a core truth that's revealed in God's word, that's revealed in creation, and that's revealed in people's testimonies and experiences throughout the ages. So that's not something that I can compromise on personally. And that's just one example of ways that I've kind of realized I'm not really being truthful. I might be being kind and sweet, but I'm actually more salty than I am sweet. And so if I'm coming across on YouTube as being kind of a extra sweet but not real version of myself, then I'm not being true to who I am. I'm not being true to what I'm called to do. And core values for me are integrity, authenticity. So I've been okay with being real, very real on YouTube, and even in the comment sections. I try to be as real as I can be. And but I'm kind of missing this other half of me, which is telling the truth. And so I guess I'm disillusioned. I'm disillusioned with YouTube. And I'm kind of worried about the future, about other people being disillusioned. And I don't really want to talk about that because it sounds really negative. But I'm a bit worried that, or concerned really, that people will strive so hard to reach their goals and meet them and then be really disillusioned by what that actually looks like for them. However, I'm a really goal oriented, driven person too, and I have goals in other areas of life that when I reach them, I feel a sense of satisfaction, a sense of accomplishment. So I completely understand it in that way. In a nutshell, I've realized that I have a sense of discontent, a little bit of disillusionment with YouTube, with being on YouTube. And I thought maybe at first it had to do with not being very successful. But then I realized that no, it's about being understood and it's about being who I really am at my core. And I don't feel like those two parts of me can really meld, can really come together. And maybe I'm wrong. So, what I'm asking you to do, if you see this, is to tell me the truth, if you can, in the comments. Do you think that I'm able to tell the truth, to be my real, authentic self on YouTube, or is this a place more for lighthearted content, more for connection, interacting, and having a great time on a live stream, or just sharing about our lives and our experiences? Or is it a place where I can go a little bit deeper and maybe hit a nerve? I guess we'll see, because going forward, I'm probably going to hit a few nerves and talk about things that are deeply real to me, and we'll see what happens. All right. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, listening, sharing your thoughts. And I just want you to know that I value this journey. I value you and the journey that you're on. And yeah, I'm excited to see where all of us end up. I'll see you again really soon. Bye.